Thanks for making the time. Quick intro, so tell me both your names and what are you building?
Naren. So I'm the CTO and co-founder of RavenMail. So we are building enterprise cybersecurity product.
Got it.
I'm Venkat, co-founder CEO of RavenMail. Been building companies for quite some time now. RavenMail happens to be the third company.
Nice. So, if it wasn't obvious, RavenMail is a portfolio company of ours. Very privileged and proud to be backing you and excited about the journey. You know, Venkat, you said that you obviously have built companies before. I know that you built Visi, you sold it to M2P, and then you were at M2P, a sort of proper fintech infra business for a couple of years. You're now building in cybersecurity, email security. It's a very different domain. What is something you're carrying personally from the Visi and M2P journey into building RavenMail?
So two primary things. One is M2P and Visi taught us to bring a lot from adjacent markets and learnings into the core product. So when you're talking about a core credit card platform in M2P or even an analytics stack in Visi, the amount of data regulations that went in and the amount of privacy and security requirements that was actually required for the product was very immense. And cyber resiliency was an unstated need of the product. So even though the previous companies was not in cyber security space per se, every tech stack that we built was kind of intrigued by millions of attackers out there because credit card transactions is where big money moved. We've been silently and unknowingly building for cyber security by and large. And RavenMail happened because we just took that learning mainstream with respect to understanding how a cyber fraud could happen in a credit card stack and then technically converting that into how to contain this in the enterprise communication space. And this market in itself is large, and both M2P and Visi, because we worked with large banks, taught us to look at those opportunities which are really kind of big in nature with respect to the size of the problem statement. And I would say that as a critical learning, taking it forward from M2P and Visi into RavenMail.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember one of our initial conversations. You were like, it's almost a definite that in X years, every single person on the planet is using email. And it's also a fact, I remember, I might be getting the number wrong, but about 98% of all cybersecurity attacks originate via email.
Right.
And you're like, then it's but obvious that, whether it's businesses, whether it's individuals, email security is going to be as hygiene as a phone number.
Yeah.
And, it's like Truecaller, but 10x at some level, right? So absolutely, I think I would love to from your perspective, right? Because that's what I heard from the journey and, was really interesting for me when I was thinking about email security. From your lens, what is it interesting about email security that a lot of people may not understand or think about when they think about it as a challenge, both for their business or in their personal lives? And I would love some insight on that.
Yeah, so one biggest thing about email is it's a very deep engineering-led solution that is required for this problem to be solved. Right? For example, email has been around for 3 decades now. Market thinks it's got very efficient, the technology has moved forward, but if you look at the core protocols that's delivering the emails across businesses and enterprises, that's very rudimentary. And thanks to AI now has completely flipped the scenario with respect to how seriously organizations should take both email and email security in the first place. Primarily because anything that's democratized before it enters the business case, like in case of ChatGPT, before we actually can induce this ChatGPT learning into business use cases, normal users like our sisters, brothers, friends, peers started using ChatGPT for their daily works, and they now know to harness the power of AI tools to kind of do their work. And just imagine the same power lying in the hands of a cyber attacker who can now spin out stories, build a high level of sophisticated contextuality of enterprises trying to kind of build a sophisticated attack into your organization. And for you to contain this, you need an AI-ready email security solution, which cannot be a email security solution which is just powered by AI. You need to think grounds up with respect to how AI can actually rethink and kind of completely rejig all the holes that actually act as vulnerabilities in the current system. And that's exactly where we are actually on the cusp of email harnessing AI for productivity and attackers harnessing AI for penetrations. And because we are at the sweet spot, yes, yeah, precisely, right? So that's exactly where we think we'll be able to kind of bring in that innovation or that layer on top of the existing product so that we can technically move the industry forward with respect to building a cyber resilient email communication ecosystem.
Got it. No, I think absolutely one of the things I joke about it. I mean, it's serious, it's true, but it's like AI for all its benefits. What it's also made is it's it will also enhance the productivity of all bad actors.
Yeah.
Right? We've got a massive thesis on online security, obviously digital security, but even from a real world safety, right? It's a lot more realistic for people to put up drones using AI and sort of hold us hostage and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to switch to Naren now. I have, this was something amazing when I covered it, because you don't really get the CTO of companies often driving super interesting marketing kind of campaigns. This is a question I've been waiting to ask you to unpack. So I'm going to let you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to not give a spoiler and let you talk about it in your own words and how that went. And I'm just going to pass you the mic.
Sure. I have varied interests, apart from tech. So I explore a lot, and coffee happens to be one of that. So basically, it started during COVID. I was at home and I didn't know what to do apart from building software or managing teams. So I was exploring coffee. As a curious person, I wanted to know how people brew coffee and what's the science behind that. And from there, fast forward, I took barista training. I took a bit more serious and invested and go on a cafe somewhere in hills. So yeah. And when we started RavenMail and we were thinking about merchandise and then what do we do to entice engineers or some sort of merch. So instead of just t-shirts and mugs, what about a Raven coffee? So eventually that became sort of the first product that came out of the company even before the cybersecurity product that came out. So that's the story behind the coffee. So it just started as a hobby and it became a merchandise for RavenMail.
Yeah. I absolutely remember that, when you guys launched the coffee, and we had already invested by then, and, obviously a couple of our LPs and people, friends, community knew that we had invested. I got a couple of emails saying that, hey, didn't you actually tell us this is a cybersecurity company, and why are we seeing coffee on the Twitter timeline or, here there on LinkedIn and stuff? And it took a bit of unpacking as to why, hey guys, this is, they have coffee, they're not selling it, but basically, yes, they are hard at work building cybersecurity. But I know from our conversations, what I want to add to that is, what I loved and is the depth of insight you took out to make something very simple. Is okay, if we're building for cybersecurity, we need to hire few engineers, but pretty much the best of the best who really care about the problem statement and will kind of really sort of work on it with the level of diligence and stuff you do need, because obviously cybersecurity is you can't cut corners at all, full stop. And I love the fact that you identified engineers want good coffee. And you really went deep. I think, Venkat, you were telling me you took a few months to finalize the source of the coffee that you will have. Yeah, as in the company. And that it took a few months to finalize the source of the coffee you're going to put in. That's hard work for merch. So, super interesting. How's it worked out so far?
It has worked out pretty good. So I think we again repackage the coffee as AI Arabica instant.
I love it.
Yeah. So basically there will be always coffee at office, and that's what keeps us going. And
fuel for company building.
Fuel for the company building and the product solutions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, if you have a full nighter to pull and you're left alone with your laptop to work, just have a sip of a coffee and it just doesn't let you sleep.
Love it.
The coffee is so intense and powerful that the notes will never let you sleep.
Yeah. I think we should switch back to the product.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think this was super great. Thank you for making the time for the chat. To folks who are watching this, if you want to go deeper into understanding email security for yourself, for your organizations, ping me, ping Venkat, ping Naren. They've promised me that from after seeing a demo, I've actually seen it and I've integrated, so I know it's true. But once you see the demo, you can make it live on your Gmail, on your Microsoft email account in under 3 minutes. So yeah, it's pretty much plug and play. Secure yourself. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.